Good morning and welcome. It looks like it's a late morning for me. I had a little trouble with my backdrop. I don't know what was wrong, but apparently I was able to fix it. It's really interesting every time you do a show, and I've been doing a lot of them, over close to 2,000 shows. But I'm here to fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. Now, I have this show on every morning from 10 a.m. on weekdays to 8 a.m. on weekends. Then in the evening, I'm on at 7 o'clock called Fight CPS and Save Our Children. And these two live streams are twice a day, 14 live streams a week. And I've been doing this since October 2023. And it's over 21 months. That's a long time. That's a long time. It's week after week, month after month, and year after year. And hello there, Cruella Dutrick. Good morning to you. You're an amazing woman, Cruella. She's from Oxnard, California. She has a case, a CPS case in Ventura County, and she has an eviction case in the city of Oxnard. And I've been trying to help her. I talked to her last night because she had much to say, and I wanted to help her because she's let this eviction. I don't understand why they're letting it go through, because the city of Oxnard, it has a clear guideline of how to fight evictions. She lived in the home that she was with her mom. Her mom owns the home. Her half brother is the power of attorney who takes care of the mortgage payments, I guess. But apparently he didn't want her in the house. And I don't know how they expel someone that's been living in the house. There are two ways in Oxnard: at fault and not at fault. Now, you're at fault if you're behind in paying the rent. That's one reason they can't do that out there. But she doesn't even have agreement. So I don't know how they can hold her lease. And her brother is not the owner of the home. He's not the landlord. And I don't know if she has agreement or what, but all I know is she was taking care of her mother, who need special help. And now her mother's missing. We think she's at her brother's, but we don't know. Because I imagine her mother could talk, or Cruella had a good judge, not a commissioner, decide her fate. She could get over this hump and be back in her home. Last night she was calling me from her car. That's not a place to live. You can't shower in the car. I've lived in the car. It's been really tough. It's been really, 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 really tough. But how this guy was able to contrive, first of all, she's dealing with a commissioner who's not a judge. A commissioner doesn't know all the things they need to know. They're a wannabe judge. They're like a temporary thing where they fill in because they have lack of judges. And I really feel that she should have a mistrial because she had a commissioner instead of a real judge. Also, I don't think the court proved that she could be ejected, because one of the at-fault evictions says you have to have illegal activities going on in the home, like selling drugs or making drugs or making counterfeit money or doing something illegal. That's another at fault. Another one is if you leave the house messy, like not clean and full of red rodents and pesticides and whatever. I know that she wasn't there. I know she doesn't do anything illegal. She's not behind rent because there's no rent. And, she has a nice, clean place. The last thing is she's a nuisance to the neighborhood. Now, I don't think she's a nuisance. She hasn't told me like that. So those are 4 reasons she could be evicted. But apparently there's a 5th reason or something that someone's come up with. I don't know. I only know what's stated on the internet about evictions in Oxnard, California. Now, there's a person that wants to help. He's a retired judge. Last name is Jones, I think it is. Anyway, um, just ask and answer is a website that's geared to Oxnard to help her. It's only a $5 refundable fee, and she get legal help. Legal help. Now, so anyway, I tried to explain all that a week ago, and I wanted her to get some help before her deadline of the 22nd, the midnight of the 22nd. Well, she was at home when the sheriff came and they asked her to leave, and she left. I guess she just didn't want to hassle calling a lawyer or whatever the case would be. She's still trying to fight it, but I don't know. I've tried so hard. I get really discouraged because I give out so much time to people to try to help them. Now, I want to welcome Dorothy Cook. Dorothy Cook is an amazing woman. She's in North Carolina, and she helps out lots of people. She comes to my room and re-emphasizes things. And I'm so glad to see you, Dorothy Cook. No, a commissioner is not. He's a referee. First of all, he's a commissioner. He's not a judge. Oh, I'm sorry you lost all your cash. That's terrible, Cruella. Wow. Not only do you take care of your mom, I think someone has to take care of you. You're a sweet person, and you know it's not going to be fun using the workout places, the shower, or other stuff like that. Anyway, this is the saga of Cruella, who's also known as Felicia. And she has also a CPS case with Ventura County. And her two babies, I guess, are with her stepdad. I think it's her stepdad, but he refuses to give it back to her. She has a real mom and a stepmom, and I guess her real dad married another woman. And that's where the brother came from. I think that's how it all fits together. But anyway, I'm here to help you no matter what. Yeah, your biological dad and his wife, who has her two babies. The saga of Felicia. That sounds cool. Well, you know about the saga of Ragnar, the Viking warrior. The saga of Ragnar. This is called the saga of Felicia. Anyway, you're able to shower in the pool facility. Okay, all right. Who shut off the water? In fact, if your landlord shuts off the water, that's illegal. No one can shut off the water. Now, if you have not paid your bill, they can, but they have to give proper notice. That's a good point, Dorothy. Dorothy is saying to Corella, call CPS and see if her brother didn't use them to remove her mother from her custody. They do children and the elderly as well. Yes, they do um, adults too. They do children and adults. Now, usually the adults are seniors or veterans or dinosaurs like me. I'm a dinosaur. And I'm 75 years old, but anyway, adult services and the child protection services are two different entities. And your mom needs to be protected. Well, if your brother's responsible for payment of the water, you could have brought it up in court and said that your brother did not make payment and the water was turned off. See, you're in that. No, you don't meet those four criteria at fault, and the non fault ones. One criteria is the owner wants to move back in the house to do some remodeling. Well, the owner is your mother. She was in the house, but your brother kidnapped her. Um, boy. Anyway, hopefully yeah, Adult Protective Services. Hope you can contact Adult Protective Services and tell them that your mom is in danger at your brother's because your brother's in taking care of him, and she needs you. And you can also adopt your mother. You can be a caregiver for your mother officially. You don't have to worry about anybody bothering you and your mother. Now, as far as paying the mortgage and the utility bills, your stepbrother has to do that. He's with the power of attorney. Anyway, okay, good. You've been in contact with APS. Okay, that sounds good. I need to catch up because some stuff has been said here so fast it's hard for me to came up there. Well, you have to file appeal. The self-help at the court is not what you want to rely on. It's the self-help on the internet. There are tons. Just answer questions. There is so much. It only costs $5. I know that someone stole it, but oh boy, I just mm. There's an old saying: you can show the horse, you can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink. You can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. And I've led you to the water, Cruella, but I can't force you to get help. And you need more help than trying to do yourself. And you got somebody that wants to help you that is well versed in evictions in Oxnard. Jones is his last name. He has a law firm. He's a retired federal judge. And he specializes in evictions. He specializes in evictions. You don't have to hire an attorney to file an appeal. It is harder, but you can do it pro se. First of all, you have to get the proper forms to do an appeal on. And you got to make sure that you got paper that has numbers on the sides and the double bars and stuff. You got what's called lawyer stationery or legal court stationery. Then you got the form that says for appeal, and you got to fill it out, and then you got to have it served. You cannot serve it. You have to have someone else serve it. They have to be at least 18 years of age, and they have to show a proof of service. And you got to serve it to your brother, to the court. That's who you have to serve it to. But you can do it. And I know that your brother's not the landlord. You never signed a contract to live in my mom's house. Every authority I've told that my brother isn't the landlord, doesn't care. Well, I don't believe they don't care. There's something called the rule of law. You just have to go to supervisors or up the chain. Maybe they go in one ear without the other ear, but if you're very professional and you keep at them, they'll eventually go in there. Yeah, the commissioner. No, of course not. Commissioners don't. It's like the attorneys you get. The court appointed attorneys are provided you don't know the laws. They're not trained in juvenile law, family law, dependency law. They're not even trained in eviction law. They're usually professional, they're usually criminal attorneys that know criminal matters. They're brand new starting out, and they're paid by either the eviction people or um, the child protection system people. Maybe your brother's the one that instituted the removal of your two babies. That's what Dorothy thinks. I'm sorry, Cruella, that you can't lean on your family. Be careful. This room is a family room orientated, so we cannot use profanity in here, okay? We cannot use profanity in here. I understand what your brother's providing. Yes, your brother's is at fault. I agree with you, Dorothy. Um, yeah, you got to file that appeal. You know, the appeal in North Carolina is filed to the local county clerk of the court and pay a fee and place cases on the docket. They may send paperwork to the sheriff's office. Well, I know that if you're going to file appeal, they may ask for a fee. You can have that fee waived, Corella, if you show that you're indigent. If you're indigent, that means you're poor. You fill out a financial thing to determine that. You show your income and you show your expenses. And they can tell you whether you can afford it or not. So they can waive the filing fee. Don't use that excuse either. Anyway, we're here to talk about the child protection system. It has a long history. Child welfare has been going on since the 1600s all the way up to today. And there's been some attempt by the government. One of the earliest attempts of the child protection system was done by the New York Society, very wealthy society, that took in children that wandered the streets of New York. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Annie or the play Annie, but that's about a child who lived in an orphanage. It's really tough. Now, there was a woman, well, she was a little girl, Mary Ellen, that was abused by her foster care parents so bad. They had marks all over her. She lived quite a long time, though. She lived into, I think, 1956, and she was born in before the Civil War. So I think she lived over 100 years old. Um, it's really an interesting case. But the child protection system has a history. They try to go back in there. It wasn't really formalized with all the states until 1962, and laws weren't in place until 1974. It's been a rough time in the child protection system. But today, it's very corrupt. There are a lot of rogue entities out there. Now, I'm not going to say half of CPS is bad, but it looks like to me it's pretty close. So far on my show, I've had over 2,000, 2,200 people, or 2,500 people, I think is where my last number counts is, that have trouble with their child protection system. Is what I call CPS. Every state has counties, and in each county is a child protection system. So, with that being said, um, they're supposed to, you know, protect our children from abuse and neglect, but we don't have anybody protecting family from CPS. It's so sad that CPS did not have a jury trial. Some states do. Texas still has trial by jury. They just feel that a judge, a single person, can make the decision for a whole family, especially if the CPS is corrupt or the judge is corrupt. It shouldn't be one individual deciding the life of 6 people, 10 people, how many big your family is, because that's who makes the decision in CPS matters. It isn't the attorneys. It isn't the child protection system. They do recommendations, but it's the judge that makes the decision. And so if you bring in a family, and there's many components to a family. There's the mother, the father, the children. There are the um, grandparents and the aunts and uncles and cousins. And then there's the siblings. So it is a very complicated problem with child protection system. Right now, we're having a lot of people being taken in, and the children are being led into foster care, trafficking into foster care when they're not in a dangerous situation. The only time a child should be removed from the home is if the child is in a dangerous situation, such as parents fighting over the child or hitting each other, or there's harm coming to the child, starving the child, or other kinds of things that are horrific things to the child. But having a child in school is not in danger. My three children were ripped from school. One of them I just had picked up from school. Unbeknownst to me, I had a detective follow me of the local police department. He wanted to find me and then ordered me to open my home, which is against the Constitution. It's crazy out there. It is so crazy. And it's a hard obstacle you guys are doing there. It's a very, very hard obstacle. Now, I want to thank the love that I see on my emoji. That's really great. Dorothy, that's awful sweet. Thank you so much. And God bless you, Dorothy. That is great. I love to have emojis, smiley faces, thumbs up, even a star. Now, one thing in here, if you're going to text a message, which I hope you do, please follow the format on your screen. And when I say country, if you live in the United States, don't have to list USA. I already know by the state where you're at. But a country is for people that are outside of the United States. There are 22 countries besides the United States. With the United States makes 23 countries I've talked to. I've talked to people in Indonesia and Bangladesh, in India, then up in the Middle East to Saudi Arabia and to Libya, then over to South Africa, to Liberia, to Sudan, to the Republic of Congo, to Rwanda, to Mozambique, and to the provinces of South Africa. Then I've talked up to Europe, to the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, and I've talked to Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond in North America, I've talked to Canada with its provinces. And of course, the United States, and all 50 states have called in, including Washington, D.C., which is not a state. And then south of the border, Mexico. Then further south in South America, north of Brazil, on the East Coast, Grenada. Then across the South Pacific to New Zealand, and then the land down under Australia and its states. So that's a lot. That's 22 countries. The United States makes 23. So that's a good cross-reference. And everybody seems to be having a problem. By 2,500 people seem to be having a problem. CPS has been horrified. I've heard the stories on here. All you have to do is look at the sample of the case workers. 8 social workers that work for the Child Protection System, which is called Department of Children's Services, in Prescott, Arizona. Prescott, Arizona is the home of Billy Jack, where the Billy Jack movies are. It's the home of several Indian tribes. But anyway, there was this child protection system called the Department of Children's Services that had 8 social workers that combinedly had 35 years of experience. So you think they know what they're doing. But what did they do? In the summer of 2022, they bought pink t-shirts, not to help out breast awareness, but to motivate their own atrocities. They had on the pink t-shirt stencil on the front, Professional child kidnappers. Now, can you believe social workers saying that and believing that they're professional child kidnappers? What message is that going to send out to the public? And on the back, they put, parents, do you know where your children are? So as they walked by you, you saw the first message, and went past you, you saw the other message. And they did this for days in all the department stores and big places like Walmart and Costco and Kmart and Sam's and J.C. Penney's and May Company and Sears and Best Buys and Target. You know, all the big stores. They were caught, and the city fired them. They fired all 8 of the social workers. No questions asked, fired them. They also fired the director of the children's services there. That director's gone, as well as 8. That's 9 people removed from a social services that had a total of 10. So it's going to hurt that program trying to protect our children, because they got one individual to handle the intake of calls, to do the investigations, and to handle all the problems they have in that city of Prescott, Arizona. Now, I'm not saying they have a lot of them, but see, that is an example of what kind of individuals social workers are. They're bad. When you're trying to fight CPS, you're like Alice in Wonderland. You fell in the rabbit hole. You met the Chester cat who's directing you from one room to the next room, not making sense, not making sense. That's how bad the child protection system is. And in my case, in Orange County, California, it was bad. I dealt with supervisors and the director of CPS, but got nowhere. Got nowhere. Now, I'm a very intelligent guy. I wrote them emails. I met with them. I told them what they're doing wrong. They didn't want to hear it. They want to make your life more miserable. The harder I fought, the harder they were against me and my wife. Now, I'm a family man. I've helped raise 6 children. 3 are older with their own families. So I have over 40 years of raising children. I've been working for 61 years. But anyway, the Child Protection Agency is corrupt, especially in Orange County. I'm not afraid to say it. It's the truth. I used to sit in the halls and talk to the hundreds of people that had cases, and the attorneys that they had were the court appointed, and they did nothing for them. These people were miserable. Some were immigrants. It's sad. It's sad how bad that Orange County is. The judges is corrupt. My judge had a background in automobile accidents and claims. He had nothing about family reunification, juvenile law, or dependency law, or family law. See, this is a family law court, and they don't allow trial by juries in California. They should, because they put a lot of emphasis on that one individual to decide the fate based on the lies that child protection system gives them. That's the sad part. There's all kinds of trickery that goes in. It's a very complex place, child protection system is. You need to get a real attorney. I have one. His name is Vincent W. Davis. And he's right there in the upper right-hand corner. His picture's there. And you can reach him. Let me that number, 888-888-6582, is the law offices. There you can reach him and find out his schedule. He does a lot of live streams. So do other people do. He has guides and books that can help you. He has packages that will help you defend your case. So call that number, 888-888-6582. Now, I have another way to be on this live stream is to be a guest. I just put the banner up there with the email you need to email to be a guest. I can take up 9 of you. So, um, my show producer will send you a link once you request one of my 14 shows. It's easy. I want to be Bob's Sunday morning show. I want to be Bob's Saturday night show. I want to be Bob's Friday morning show, Wednesday, whatever. More, it's either night or morning, and it's one day of the week. You can't go wrong. And she'll give you the link, and you copy and paste it in your browser, and you'll be at what's called SteamYard. That's the software application I use, and they use YouTube to transmit the application. The application has the format that you see before you. Now, I can take up 9 of you as guests, and that's great because on a phone call, that's the hard one on a phone call. Now, I'm going to put up the phone calls here where my phone number is put up there. That's my number, 626-698-0990. You can call in right now and talk to me. We have the whole half an hour left of my show time. I have a running clock and a time clock. My time clock says there's 10 minutes before 11 o'clock when the show ends. But here it says there's 29 minutes left of my show. Running time. But please call in. The phone doesn't bite you, and I can help you with your case. You either tell me about your story, or maybe there's a question you want to ask, and I can help you. I can help you. I have 42 years of marriage experience. I have 40 years, 40 plus years of raising children, and I have 61 years of working experience. So I have a lot of life skills. I have a lot of life skills I can help you out with. And again, I'm thanking Dorothy for helping to reemphasize my bullet points. Now, Corilla, don't forget what you need to do. You have a homework. You have a homework to do. I need to help you with a CPS case. We need to refresh it. You need to start from the beginning, how your CPS case started and what bearing it has and so forth. Okay? Hmm. Okay. Now, Dorothy's sharing something new. She says Puerto Rico enacts a law protecting minors from gender transition procedures. How can that be used in other ways for protecting our children? I never knew about that. Let me look that up. Puerto Rico enacts a law protecting minors from gender transitions. Huh. Well, let's see what they have to say. Okay, this is what I've found out in Puerto Rico. They have enacted a law that prohibits hormone therapy and gender affirming surgeries for transgender individuals under the age of 21. This legislation is signed by Governor Jennifer Gonzalez Colon, imposes severe penalties on violators, including a 15-year prison sentence, a $50,000 fine, and the revocation of all medical license and permits for involved staff. The law aims to protect minors from making irreversible decisions due to their lack of emotional, cognitive, and physical maturity. It also states that public funds cannot be used for such purposes. The law has drawn criticism from the LGBTQ and Advocacy Program, which is pledged to challenge its constitutional in court. However, minors who have already begun general affirming treatments are allowed to continue their treatments in a private hospital. That's horrible. I don't know where you found that, but that's horrible, Dorothy. That is really a horrible thing. Now, if you want that enacted in the United States, I don't know. You know, I do talk about life skills, and I talk about something simple about God. As I believe God was the creator of everything, the universe, man, plants, animals, everything. But he created man first. And when he created man, he found that man needed a companion. So he created a companion that worked well with man, called a woman. And she was made from him, from Adam, and became Eve. And they were together to reproduce and create babies. That's why they have the appropriate appendages to create babies. And that's how the world has been forever. Now, I know that there's been some talk about people have yearnings for the same sexes, and I know that there's gay people. I'm not here to talk about that. But what's happened a lot lately is our young children, who are very naive under the age of 21, are being exposed to it. In fact, there's a father who took his family to Moscow, Russia, because in Arizona public schools required the kids to develop a paper about transgender. And he didn't want that to happen to his children. He also doesn't like the way that the government's going and so forth. So he's left Arizona, I think is where he's from, went to Moscow to a U.S. village. There's only a couple American families are living there. But the Russians are liars. Not only did they lie to him, but he's on the front lines for Russia fighting the Ukraine war. And now he's been missing, MIA. What probably happened, he's shot dead. He doesn't know how to fire a weapon. He's supposed to get training. But that's how far, I don't see anything positive. I mean, I see the parades, and this is a hard subject to talk about. I think it's fine to have expression, but do we have a heterosexual parade? Do we have a bestiality parade? I mean, there are so many life forms that we could generate or something. I just think people should do it in their privacy. I don't think you have to make a decoration. I mean, the problem is it's alternative lifestyle. The norm is a man and a woman. That is the norm. That's what God created. Now, I'm not trying to be a strong religious person, but I do believe in God as the creator. And I do teach a life skill that we're on a train, on a journey. And the train runs, as you know, on two rails, connected by wooden ties, strong wooden ties. Now, I got this ideal thinking in my head, partly from the Polar Express because there's a boy on a train, and the idea of two rails. And the left rail is the circle of life. That's where you can have a big circle or a small circle, depending on how long you want to live. But the Lion King told me about the circle of life. How we all start out young and innocent and weak, and then we die young and, well, not young, but innocent and weak again. It's that circle of life, and I plan to have a big circle, live a long time. But the right side, I call the rail, the stairway to heaven, because I've been taught lately that everybody should strive to go to heaven. Now, I'm not trying to say this is something that Catholics do or they have their purgatory or all the teachings that Catholics do. They have a very complex religion, very complex. I've seen it. My wife is a full devoted Catholic, hardcore. Anyway, religion should be something that you do on your own, something you bring into your heart. But in the Bible, it doesn't talk about LBQs or about gays or about alternative lifestyles or, it doesn't talk about all these things that, we're faced with. So, Dorothy, thank you for bringing up that thing that Puerto Rico did. It just protects the people that are under the age of 21 and does not stop anybody under the age of 21 who's going through, the transition. Because once you're from a man, if you're a man, you transfer to a woman, or if you're a woman, you transfer to a man. It's not reversible. We got to be careful messing around with God's creation. Just look at the appendages that man and woman have. It's like a nut and bolt. They go together. But two nuts don't go together and two bolts don't go together. Now, I can't really talk about sex in this live stream because I have a family program here. So I'm trying to talk about it in kind of a layman way, nuts and bolts. I think you guys have great imagination and you know what a nut and bolt do. But anyway, this idea of that we need to have freedom for our children, like 12 years old, 10 years old, because they've been somehow thinking that they're one of the other sexes. I don't know. I mean, I'm not myself, but I've been around enough gay people. My first marriage, my wife's mother was gay. In fact, the first time I met my wife's mother, she was naked on the pool deck with her girlfriend. So that's how I met my first wife's mother. Strange family. It always is strange. I mean, her brother's wife ended up killing somebody. It was sad. And my wife hung around with a bad element. She had a boyfriend that was being tried for murder. But anyway, I loved her dearly. I did not want the marriage to end. She decided to end the marriage, not me. And out of it was a beautiful child. But I don't see that child. I've not seen that child since she was 3 years old. Nothing with CPS. But my wife wanted to retaliate. And that's what sometimes people do when they're scorned. She still to this day does not tell me why she wanted the divorce. Of course, it's simple. In California, you get divorced for irreconcilable differences. I mean, if you disagree with the guy. Marriage is a commitment. It's a time for two people to work things out. There should be a law that says you have to go through 6 months of counseling or a year of counseling to save that marriage. You need to do counseling because two people once were in love and somehow they fell out of love. And if they've done something wrong, they can repent, say they're sorry, and move on. We all do things. God made us so that we do bad things. But we have to repent. We have to pray to God for forgiveness. That's what the right rail does to Stairway to Heaven. Also, you need to do good deeds, and that's what the railroad timbers represent. They're ties that connect the left rail to the right rail and take care of you to go to Stairway to Heaven, because that is your goal. Your goal is to be the biggest circle of life and to go to the Stairway to Heaven. Don't make it complicated. And the Bible is a beautiful book. I never really read it that much, but now I'm reading it all the time. And it's still applicable. Yes, they don't talk about computers. They don't talk about pornography. They don't talk about bestiality or all the different kinds of things, the gay or whatever it is. But there's enough good sense in that Bible that it's one of the most, it is the proper book to read. So I'm glad you brought this up, Dorothy. And I'm glad to be able to share a life skill such as believe in God. Now I'm here to help you all. I've put my phone number up. I've told you that you can be on my show, as part of my live stream as a guest. I've told you how to send in um, text messages and so forth, and where to get help. Now, did you know that by calling in or being my show as a guest, you're entitled to a free 15-minute session with Vincent Davis? Not only that, there are other things that Mr. Davis has that are some breaks there. If you don't like 15 minutes and want longer time, well, he has another thing I'm posted on right now. For 30 minutes, you can have a private Zoom consultation with Vincent Davis. And that's a courtesy of me. I'm the one that created that. You go to the website, candly.com, apps, VWD, Bob Pace, and you sign up. And when you sign up, you just pay a one-time $60 fee on your Visa card or your MasterCard or whatever credit card that you got. It's all on that website. You pick a time that Vincent has open and you sign up your time there. 30 minutes for $60. His normal rate is $500 an hour. Now, attorneys run from $200 an hour to $1,000. So, they're all over the place. Now I talk about the grandparents' guide to get your grandchildren back. You just go to stand.store, attorney VWD, or you call in to the numbers 888-888-6582. But you can get the guide. It's a step-by-step guide of how grandparents can adopt their grandchildren. It's good for other states. It's set up for California, but it's good for other states. And parents should get that guide too. So I have that. That website, by the way, stand.store, attorney VWD, has a lot of information, a lot of books and guides and lawyer packages. So go there. Go there. And then Mr. Davis has his regular website, which is www.vincentwdavis.com. That's the site that you'll find all about his office, his phone number, what lawyers he has, and books and stuff. It's great. So that's another resource. I give a lot of resources on here besides my 5 rules. Now, I have one other thing that I share with you. It's called DOGE. It's the Department of Government Efficiency. And if you have a grievance or you're filing anything and you want them to investigate, they have an email, doge@mail.house.gov. They also have a website, doge.gov, that you can go and see what they're doing with each individual government entity. Right now, they're investigating social services. I know they're doing it in Orange County because I've talked to a Doge person that was on the line as a supervisor when I was talking to a social worker at social services. Anyway, I know that they're real. They're trying to protect and get rid of all the people that got money that they weren't working. They're getting paying money for no work. They're paying money to dead people. And I'm talking about billions of dollars. Their goal is to reach $1 trillion of bad money in U.S. government. Yes, they're cutting back aid. They're cutting back all kinds of grants to universities and stuff. They have their reasons. You got to listen to the reasons. They aren't to do it because they're spiteful, but see, every couple of months, Congress is always short on money to keep our government running. So they always have to go and get some money. And if they get $1 trillion, which is their goal, that'll put a big dent in the government deficit. So please contact Doge. I'll have that website up at the end of my podcast. I'll have it up at the end of my podcast. Now I'm going to put my phone number up because I was hoping someone would be able to call in. I still got time. It's 626-698-0990. I'd love to talk to you. It is a hard thing to fight CPS because it's so corrupt. They need to have a trial, a jury trial. You know, they're talking about protecting the juveniles. Well, it's not the juveniles are on trial. It's a family. It's a mother and father. That's where their confusion lies. They think it's going to harm the children if they have a trial by jury, the trials. This is because they're going to be deciding anything about the children. They're talking about the family. Yes, juvenile law and family law go hand in hand as well as dependency law. Those three areas of law is what you need to work out. A plan. There's a safety plan they talk about. It's for your benefit, but you got to be careful not to sign unless you don't agree to it. You got to have your attorney look at it. Um, Great, we have a caller. Good morning, and this is Bob Pace on live stream. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to? Can I not do what? Well, I can do that, but then the people won't hear me and it will hurt the show. You can call me after the show, Diane, if you like. Can you call me at 11 o'clock or 11:15 my time? Yeah, I like you to say it. Go ahead. Everybody's listening. And by the way, where are you from, Diane? Where are you from? All right, right. You're from yeah, okay. This is Diane. She's been on my show many times, and she's from Illinois. I think it's called Peoria, Illinois, or Milwaukee. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. She's go ahead. What do you mean it didn't work? Okay. What you need to do is you need to contact Grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's the email for her. And do it again. No, I think you have to do it where you sign in maybe 10 minutes early. Right, right. So, what would you like to share with our listeners right now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah.
thing you could do is have your child taken. There's another thing equally as a child can have their parents taken.
Yes.
Their beloved parent, and that's the Adult Protective Services. And
yes,
there's another entity that operates very much the same as
the Adult Protection Services. I've heard nothing but bad reports. I had my sister who's in Adult Protective Services, and they were terrible. I have firsthand knowledge dealing with APS, Adult Protection Services, and it's sad.
Yeah.
See that firsthand. My sister, who was born in 51, and so she died at 60. She was 60 years old when she died, and she died because in the place that she was staying, they wouldn't exercise her, and her bones and everything froze up, and she died a horrible, miserable life. She was a beautiful sister, and I would visit her, but I couldn't take care of her because I had CPS on my case during that time. So, you know, yes,
Nutritious food.
yeah. Right now, there's a man. Ratford is his last name. I think his first name is Robert. He's from North Carolina. Dorothy's been trying to connect with him. He was on her show, and he was taking care of his father, a veteran who had an income that was very nice income for a retired veteran. And he was given additional money by the Veterans Administration to take care of his dad. And he also had paperwork to show that he was. But family members got wind of the money and they wanted the money their dad was getting or their grandfather, whatever the relationship was, because their father, his dad was getting $9,000 a month and he was getting $3,000. So that's $12,000 a month those two were living on in North Carolina. The North Carolina, I think, is a lot cheaper than California is to live. And $12,000 may not sound like a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I know that that's sad.
Just like this perception of what's going on, and I'm not getting something, or you need to do it my way, and yet
They want the money. They want the free money. They want they want the free money. You see, people have learned that the government spends trillions of dollars wasteful. That's why there's the Doge, that's the Department of Government Efficiencies in place, because they're trying to weed out all the people that are taking money away. And it's taken some heartaches to a lot of people, like Harvard and they, Alma from Florida. Was that who you're talking? Yeah, it was Alma from Florida. She knew a lot.
your life. You're saying it's already 15 years in. It does damage to other people's lives. It's damage to to your loved ones. It does damage to your family. There's even people that, like, in CPS, they step up, but to take care of the family members, but it's, oh, you didn't do our timeline. And I know Mr. Davis always trying to educate people on these timelines, and they don't want you to know these things because they want to do what they're going to do, and they want the money, and they don't. It makes me very sad that in this life there are people that have that view about, we didn't come here to get stuff and money. We came here to create, and we came here to love each other and to help.
And to raise a family. And to raise a family. And that is really important. I had dreams when I was a young boy because I saw my parents were. My dad was a military man in the United States Navy as a career, so I had 18 years in the Navy as a dependent. But I saw how him and his mother, my mother, he and his wife, who first started out in Quonset hut quarters, these steel things with orange crates as furniture. They're starting out. Being a career in the Navy does start off really slow. Once you reach, orange crates work. And so that is how, right. So that's how I envision, and I can't remember a lot of my early years. Some people can, but I do remember my years in high school. Yeah. I remember in high school how hard it was with the Vietnam War going. My dad was gone for 9 months. I missed him in high school. I played football. I missed him at the football games. I missed him as he came back safe. He did not receive any injuries. He had close calls. He had one time he went ashore to rescue some Marines in Vietnam that were running out of space, and he was a commanding officer, and he took over that gig and got it in, and bullets were flying and so forth, and he rescued him. He's had some really remarkable times in the Navy. Navy is a wonderful career. It's a wonderful branch. But that's what I learned about families. It was respect. He taught a lot of respect. It was yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Now, I raised my family probably too loose and too easy. I was able to get good income when I got married. See, I went to a job that pays more than the norm, and I had my forever home that I lost in CPS. Yeah. What about him? Yeah. 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 I'm going. Okay. Diane, I'm going to put you on hold here from Illinois because I have to close my show down. Don't go anywhere. You and I can continue the talk. All right, you listeners out there, I got to wrap up this show. I've gone 24 minutes over my show time of 11 o'clock. I've gone over five. Don't go. Yeah, go ahead, Diane. Go ahead. Right, I will. But don't go anywhere, Diane, because I'll be right back with you. Okay. Um, so all you listeners, Diane is the one who called in and she shared some information about the adult protective services. And we've been talking about the child protection system. And Dorothy Cook has been excellent. She's been highlighting what I'm saying and typing it up on the screen so everybody can see. Thank you, Dorothy Cook from North Carolina. Also, Corilla, who I've been trying to help, she has two issues. She has eviction, and she has her two babies that were taken from her in a child protection system case. I know about evictions firsthand. That's why I took it on. I can talk about it. And she's not the only one. I've had 3 other people with eviction problems here. So she's been calling in regularly twice a day, and I worry about her. I worry about her all the time. And she has a lot to say, and she has a very terrible case. But those are the people that called in this morning. But I want to thank you all. Now, I have a nighttime show at 7 p.m. tonight. That's Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to hear from you. Please, come in, listen, or if you want to call in like Diane is, you're welcome. But whatever you do right now, don't give up. Keep fighting for your family. Keep fighting for your kids. Think about your kids. Don't give up. And with that being said, God bless you all. And you listen to a brief message about Vincent Davis. It's an audio that's played. It's an audio that'll play. All right, I'm going to sign off. Diane, hold on. I'll be right back with you. Bob Pace sign.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last